I had these 3 dreams on January 22nd, 2025. 2025. January 22. 1. I was walking up some stairs to a well-lit room, and as I walked up the staircase I heard Obama's voice talking about how great of a student I was. I got to the top and I sat down and I started to take the test when I heard a familiar voice. It was my dead helper from elementary school, Miss Hilda. She was much quieter in this dream and she said she was 34. We talked for 30 seconds max before I did the test. Somehow I forgot what I did, but I knew that the questions were easy. I had to do another part of the test, and as I went up the staircase again, Miss Hilda and Barack Obama were talking about how good of a student I was. I finished and I got a dream message that the test was either worth all my grade or 80% of my grade for the class. Then a man approached and told me to get away from margin, which was Miss Hilda, and I did, and I woke up or I transferred into the next dream. 2 to 3 of some person's family members died of cancer, and I was at the funeral and I was crying, and this funeral home was small. About the size of my house max. I said something and Carissa's husband Paul said, "Yeah, we try not to think about it," or something like that. Then my Aunt Kim took me away from the funeral, and I had thought for the longest time that I knew these people, but a dream message told me that I didn't know these people. Aunt Kim and I walked into a well-lit section of the funeral home, and I said I felt so stupid for crying like that when I didn't even know them. We walked up a staircase and Aunt Kim said, "You can drive your grandpa's boat." I knew she was talking about my mom's dad. I have 2 grandpas. I got near the water and I felt something that wasn't a boat, and my Aunt Kim said something like "or not, or maybe not." I woke up or transferred into the next dream. 3. I was in a classroom and I was going through the last day of my senior year. Nothing happened for a while, and then my teacher told us that we'd be having a Manaman battle, and a number of 167 flashed in my head, but that could have either meant we would be doing 167 vs 167 Manaman battles, or that meant something else. If so, the dream didn't show me. My ex-friend Zach and I were doing our Manaman battle and we had 2 Manaman left apiece. Zach killed my Wavatimus and I damaged one of his creatures, but not by much, and I think I said no, and he mocked me on how I had 1 Manaman and he still had 2. Then I killed another Manaman of his and it was 1v1. The teacher then stopped the battle and talked about giving cash to the losers. She also mentioned another student's name, which I think the name was Quinn or Gwyn. I felt as if I was battling this person she addressed, but I killed Zach's last Manaman and I got $25 for winning. Then everything was chill for a while and I felt like the day was drawing to a close. I said it was nice having you as my teacher, and she said, "Oh, thank you." I said my same line again and so did she. I talked about other teachers with her for a bit whilst thinking of my helper Linda. For some reason I checked the time somehow and I saw it was 2:23 p.m. I checked a mere few seconds later and it was 2:30 p.m. This should have cued me into becoming lucid, but I had a bird brain tonight. In real life it was probably around 7:51 a.m. or so, because I woke up at 7:53. I heard the bell and I walked outside and I worried about the crowds. But I couldn't walk right at first, so I fell, but I got up quickly. I shortly met up with my sister Harper and she graduated 8th grade and we were happy to be leaving school. As we walked home I initially heard pebbles under our feet as we walked, and I thought of a clip from Bob's Burgers where Tina was overwhelmed to graduate 8th grade, but this wasn't a real clip. Then I literally thought about how I graduated high school almost 5 years ago. Almost as if to keep me from getting lucid, my dream sent me a message that they created an additional 10 credits that students had to have to graduate. We walked for a while just talking, Harper and I, and we approached some houses and we thought that one of them was ours, but we shortly realized we still had some walking to do, and shortly after we arrived at home and Harper went in first. I opened the door and I fell, but I didn't feel the fall, I just fell. I was worried about my dog Winter running out, but I felt an Apple AirTag. The floor felt like it was made of prestige material and I got up and shut the door. I went to the kitchen. My dad was talking about how my SSI check would only be between $40 to $66. I might have mentioned the $25 I got from my teacher and he might have said that's good or something like that. I woke up shortly after at 7:53.